Hello movie fans, I'm Eric, aka MrMonkey, and welcome to MrAniMonkey, the channel for everything animated movies. Yes, right, I'm finally getting this channel started, and to start it off, I'm going to review the 2 animated movies that came out in 2012 so far. And we're going to start off with The Secret World of Arritetty, which is this new Japanese animated film from Studio Ghibli. Usually these movies are directed by Hayao Miyazaki, who's directed Castle in the Sky, My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, and most recently Ponyo. But this is the first animated film directed by Hiromasa Yonebayashi. The Secret World of Arrietty follows Arrietty, a young borrower, and borrowers basically are little people who live in houses and take things that people wouldn't normally notice were missing. So one day Arrietty is caught by a boy, which is obviously a really big problem because it endangers the whole colony of the borrowers. But she tries to develop a friendship with this boy, and it makes up for a very beautiful movie. I was a bit surprised by The Secret World of Arrietty. It was not really like the whole strange, out of this world feel that I've gotten from a lot of other Studio Ghibli films. Even though it is a bit strange that there are little people who live in houses, it's not as strange as movies like Spirited Away, which is one of my favorite movies, but not necessarily in a bad way. The voice cast is great. I thought Bridget Mendler did a really good job as Arrietty. Also, David Henry as Sean was very good.
Be nice to her.
Will Arnett and Amy Poehler are also in this, and you'd think they had like a more funny role, but it's pretty simple roles for them, but they also still did a great job. Amy Poehler was really funny.
I'll probably have to move now. Goodbye, old table.
My favorite character in the movie was Spiller. I thought the character design on him was wonderful, and I thought the character was really cool. The best part about this movie definitely is the animation. It looks fantastic. It was really refreshing for me to get to see 2D animation back in theaters for the first time since last year's Winnie the Pooh. So I thought that was just great, and the painted backgrounds, they look spectacular. The whole thing just looks beautiful. It's a very beautiful movie. Like I said before, the story isn't really too out there, which kind of surprised me, but I still think it's a really entertaining movie, and I think kids will love it. There actually is a really big emotional twist in the movie, which caught me off guard for when I was surprised on how deep they went into the emotional side of the movie. And I think it was a great animated movie in comparison to other Studio Ghibli films. Maybe not as good as those, but still a very good, very entertaining movie. So how I'm going to grade movies on this channel is I'm going to give a few points that I'm going to grade movies on, and I'm going to average them out to have the final rating. So for the animation, I would give it an 8. I thought it was a beautiful animation. The characters, I give it a 6.5. Not many standout characters. I thought Spiller was definitely the coolest character. The direction, I'd give it a 7. It's really well told. The story has a few kind of slow parts, but I think it's really well told for the most part. For entertainment, I'd give it a 7.5. I think kids and adults can enjoy it throughout the whole span. And for the story, I'd give it an 8. I think it's a really cool concept, and I love the way they did it. Kind of in a way, they really played with the fact that the borrowers are really small, and they really made you feel like you're in that seat, which I thought was a good job on the director's part, and the story helped out as well. So my final rating for The Secret World of Arrietty will be a 7.4. I thought it was a really fun, really cool animated movie. Next up is Dr. Seuss's The Lorax. I was actually really excited for this movie. I'm a big fan of Dr. Seuss ever since I was a kid, and I was really wanting to see what they were doing with this story. Unfortunately, I was very let down by this movie. It just turned out to be really dull and really just not entertaining for me. So the story in this movie is that Ted is a boy who wants to impress a girl, Audrey, by getting her a tree. So because of his grandma, Ted finds a onceler, and the onceler tells him about a story about the Lorax and how they used to have a wonderful forest of trees and how it all got lost and how they could hopefully save it again. Now, like I said, I really didn't enjoy the Lorax. I think one of the strongest points about this movie, though, was the voice cast. I thought Danny DeVito was actually excellent as the Lorax. I thought he really embodied the character very well. His character wasn't in it that much, which is really disappointing for me.
Vacate the premises. Take your axe and split. Get out of here.
Also, a little fun fact for you, he also played Phil in 1997 Disney movie Hercules, which I actually really enjoyed his character in that, too.
Rule number 95, kid. Concentrate. Rule number 96! Aim!
My favorite voice actor in this movie, though, has to be Ed Helms as the onceler. It was so cool because he actually sounded like a cartoon character, which was just really awesome for the movie.
You saved my life!
Yeah, I know. Well, no, it's not that big a deal.
It is a big deal. Look, I almost went over that waterfall. My bed. How did my bed get in the river?
I definitely think Ed Helms should do more voice work because he just was awesome in this role. Zac Efron plays Ted, and I thought he was alright. His character was very dull, though. Same goes for Taylor Swift. Her character was barely even in it, but when she wasn't really entertaining to me. I also think Rob Riggle was hilarious in the movie as kind of the big chief executive guy of the bottled air company. I think one of the biggest problems with the Lorax is it tries to transition from these two stories, and one story about Ted trying to find a tree, and the other story about the Lorax and the Onceler and how they had this kind of feud between them. And I really didn't find myself invested in either one of these stories. They were just both really dull to me. They were really boring, and I didn't really get invested in any of the characters too much. I really think it would have benefited if they just took one of the stories and played with that one. I mean, probably the Onceler and the Lorax story would work better and would be more faithful to the book. They just didn't balance those two stories as well, and they made for neither one of them being successful. This movie is directed by Chris Renaud, the director of Despicable Me, and I really didn't think he did a good job. Again, putting these two worlds, these two separate worlds, and telling them in the same movie, which just made it really boring. Also, this movie is just so generic. Every plot point, every joke, you could see it coming from a mile away. It's really predictable, and it's really nothing new. The animation looked great, but that's another letdown for me as well, in a way, because the world of Dr. Seuss has so much potential for CGI animation. They could do so much with it, and they did so much with it in Horton Hears a Who, which I definitely prefer over this. But they really didn't do much with this. All they did was make a forest of trees and a weird town. I didn't think they should have had more fun with the whole world of Dr. Seuss, because it opens up so many doors if you think about it. There's so much stuff you could do with this in the genre of CGI animation, and they just really don't do much with it. So overall, I was really disappointed in the Lorax. It wasn't really a great animated movie. For the animation, I'll give it a 7.5. For the characters, I give it a 4. Mainly the Lorax and the Onceler was really standout characters, but for everyone else, it's pretty dull for the most part. The direction, I'll give it a 4 again, because they didn't really tell the two stories very well. For entertainment, I'll also give it a 4 because it's very boring and dull and generic and just not really fun to sit through. And the story, I give it a 3.5. I think the stories were really just both very dull and just not very investing for the audience. So overall, I give the movie a 4.6. I really think that Dr. Seuss's world could have been done in a lot better way, but unfortunately this was just disappointing to me. So those are my reviews of the two animated movies that came out so far in 2012, Secret World of Arritetty and Dr. Seuss's The Lorax. Let me know what you thought of these two movies. If you want to see them, if you have seen them, definitely tell me in the comments below. Also give me some suggestions about what you want to see me do with animation, anything related to animation. If you want me to give a review of an older animated movie that you like, or if you want me to talk about a new thing in animation, whatever, just leave me in a comment below, or you can contact me on Facebook or Twitter. Also, check out my main channel, MrAniMonkey, for all the latest movie reviews. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Eric, aka MrAniMonkey, and I'll see you guys later.
Bite of the giant furry peanut.
I'll go right up your nose.
You wouldn't hit a woman.
That's a woman?